Hi everybody, this is Oksana, and I'm sorry my voice is all stuffy. I'm recovering from a cold, so my nose is stuffed up. But in this video, I'm going to be making this pendant, and there's something unique about it that is not really noticeable by looking at it, but it's that it uses half-hard wire. I asked you guys in the community tab of my YouTube channel, which is a membership tab, and you can learn more about memberships by clicking the join button below. But I asked you if you'd be interested, and most people said yes, at least as of today, as of May 13th. It had more yeses than nos, so I thought that I would make this video since you guys seemed interested, and I would use half-hard wire. So the base wires, the 20 gauge square copper that you see all around here, is half-hard, and the little connecting half-round wire is still dead soft because I only have dead soft, but it was such a thin wire, even if you had half-hard, it would feel the same way and it would be pretty much the same to work with. But in terms of the rest of it, it's a little bit different to work with. It's definitely firmer. If you've ever worked with stainless steel, you guys might be like, oh no, not stainless steel. The stainless steel is very difficult to work with, dead soft stainless steel. Now this isn't quite as bad. I find half-hard copper to be a little softer than dead soft stainless steel, so don't worry. It's not as bad as stainless steel, but it is more firm. And of course, feel free to do this if you just have your regular dead soft, square wire. Feel free to do this with dead soft. I mean, it's going to be just easier for you to bend it. When you see me struggling to bend it, you'll just have an easier time, but you can definitely do this design with dead soft, so don't be discouraged if you're like, oh no, it's a half hard video, now I can't follow it along. You can definitely follow it along with dead soft. And something else I wanted to say, what was it? Oh yes, that's right, the most important question, why would you use half hard in the first place? So there might be a few reasons. So first of all, it's pretty firm, so your pendant is going to be really sturdy, and that probably is the main reason what might entice the most people. And another reason might be that maybe you already have half hard, maybe you accidentally bought it one time. It does tend to be more readily available and cheaper, so maybe you just have access to it rather than the dead soft, and you might be thinking, well, can I still do wire wrapping? Can I still make these pendants if I only have access to half-hard copper? And the answer is yes, you can, and you'll see how I do that here in this video. So hopefully it'll be helpful and it'll show you how to make this pendant design. All right, so here is my half-hard wire. It's the same as my normal spools of wire. It looks the same because it's from Rio Grande. And this is how they come, but here's the name of the website, riogrande.com, and then right here, I was looking for the 20 gauge, so it's 20 gauge square copper in half hard, and it looks, just like normal 20 gauge copper. But when I start working with it, you will see how it behaves slightly differently. So I cut myself 3 pieces of it, and let me measure them for you. So they are 11 inches long, and then while I'm measuring, might as well measure my stone. So it's a Labradorite that is about like 34 millimeters, or is it 33 millimeters, and in inches it's like 1.25 inches, just a little, like a smidge more than 1.25 inches. So for my connecting wire, I have some 22 gauge half round, and I actually don't have half hard in my half round wires, but because it's such a thin wire, it feels pretty much the same. So if you're using half hard wire here, which, of course you can if you have it, it's gonna be the same thing. There's gonna be no difference here. So you would do the same thing that we normally do, which is I'm grabbing my little tail end, and I'm wrapping around, and then you kind of have to twist. So what you could do here is you could press down on your wire with your pliers, and then you would do another twist around, and then you could just press down on it again. So that's my tip if you're having trouble, but again, from working with stainless steel wire, it's pretty much the same because it's such a thin gauge here. So I'm just turning the piece and then I'm guiding with my hand. But yeah, if you need to like press down with your pliers, you can. But I find that I can just wrap it tightly enough with just my hands, and I usually use the pliers at the very end. So after you've done a few wraps, what you want to do is you just want to finish your wire ends on the same side. So we're just gonna trim them off on this side here, and then just we're gonna press them down. So I'm just pressing that down. All right, now here's where the real difference begins. Up until now, it's just been what you're used to, all the same stuff. But now is when you're gonna see, this is hard wire. So we're gonna bend our frame. This is the part that doesn't have the wire ends. The wire ends are in here because that's the part that's going to touch the stone. So we want to start bending our shape, which is, mine is an oval. Whatever shape stone you have, you just bend to the shape of your stone. So I can already feel this is a lot firmer to bend, and you can see, maybe you can see the sway. It's like raised on one side and not the other. So I'm just gonna hold with my pliers and I'm just gonna adjust to fix that. I find that I end up using my pliers a lot more with half hard wire. So if I take my stone and I kind of sit it down in there. So I need to open this up a little bit. So one thing, I'll show you a good example here with half hard. So with soft wire, once you kind of bend it, it stays that way, but this springs back. See, look, I bent it, springs back. So you have to kind of over bend things, like bend them more than you think you need to, more than you expect to. So I'm having kind of a harder time with the bottom part here because it just doesn't want to have that slightly wider shape that I need at the bottom. There we go. Is that better? There, finally. So you just, it takes a little bit extra molding sometimes. So I'm bringing it up to a point here at the top, and then I am putting a bend in each of the sides here so that it can come together. Just make sure it's nice and centered. So like that. And then of course it springs open. All right, so now I'm just gonna hold that, because if the wires, the way you want them to be lined up is all the nice little flat edges to be stacked together. So when mine are stacked together, they're kind of at a bit of an angle here. So I'm just kind of adjusting that so they will be lined up better. And then this wire, this frontmost wire, I just need to kind of tilt it a little bit because the flat edge of it is like tilting inwards and not just going flat up. So, and this is the case with just square wire in general, not specifically half hard, is that you want it to stack together nicely. Oh, look at this, it's slid around. You want it to just stack together nicely with the little flat edges all together and stuff. So I'm just reinforcing those bends with my pliers, and I'm just keeping this tight together so I don't lose that nice stacking there that I've created. Because if I just let it go, it's just all gonna come springing open. So I'm grabbing my half round again, and I'm just doing the normal thing where I just wrap around all of those wires together. I just grabbed, like, it's still connected to the spool, but just the little end of it. So wrapped around, kind of slide that down. And then take this little tail end, put it through from back to front. This is just how I like to finish the little end of the wire. I find that it makes it less likely to unravel. And then I'm just gonna trim that. So now if I look at my piece, I just have to fix just the fact that these are, like, if I hold them, see how my wires are kind of, my pliers are pointing this way because they're not straight. It's like tilted compared to the rest of the piece, so I just have to bend it so it is straight. So see now. All right, so we've adjusted all of that. And now I'm just going to make the bail. So to make the bail, I'm just going to bring forward those front two wires. I'm just going to make sure that they're lined up nicely. And wrap around. With my half round wire. So however long you want your bail to be, so I'm just guiding with my right hand, I'm just twisting the piece with my left hand. And so just do this as long as you want for how tall you want your bail to be. About an inch is usually good bail. It's like medium size, you know, not too small, not too big. And then when you're done, just want to trim it so the little end of it is on the back. So this is the front. Like if I'm holding it properly, this is the front. And then when I bend my bail, that'll be the back. So the little wire end is here on the back. So then you just press that down, and you could just press the whole thing down. So far it's been, you know, pretty smooth sailing, nothing too difficult. I spent a little extra time, you know, shaping the frame and lining up the wires nicely for the frame. But other than that, it's been just like working with dead soft wire, just a little more effort on the bending part. This is a part where you can do different things. Obviously, if you have your preferred design that you like to do here around the bail, feel free to give that a try. But I do notice that the biggest difference with the half hard wire is seen here when you start doing the decorating, because it's harder to bend it to your will and to do different little swirls and things like that, little loops that you might, you know, want to do, might not come as easily. So I'm gonna try to do something kind of minimal that should be fairly easy to do. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of these back wires. So the less wires that we have, the easier it's going to be. So I'm just putting like a little angular bend into it, and I'm going to do one wire at a time. Normally I just grab and do both wires at a time, but I'm just going to do one wire at a time. So I did that one, and now I'm just going to do this one. And actually, before I trim that off, I want to put in my stone. I meant to do that first because I feel like when you block in your stone, the wires kind of move around a little bit. So let's let them do that before we finalize. So I'm popping in my stone here. And I'm just going to grab the backmost wires here on the back. This is the back of the pendant, and put an angular bend in both of them. So it just feels a little different, like even just now when I'm putting the bend into it, I'm putting more effort into it, but still, you know, working the same way. And then here on the front, just gonna wedge my wires in there and just kind of slide that down. And put a bend there. And on the other side. All right. So now we can focus on here. So I'm just gonna kind of redo that a little bit. And now with my wire cutters, this part's gonna be hidden away, so it's not really important. We're just trying to get rid of some wires so we have less wires to tuck away. So here we have the little ends there. I trimmed them. And then these two wires, I'm just gonna put one on each side like that. And so what we're gonna do is make our bail. And just the same way, we're just gonna tuck that through. Using my pliers this time. So it's kind of tough to do that with my hands, so relying on pliers. And then I'm just gonna squish that like this, and while I'm holding it like that, I'm just gonna push on those front wires so they're coming from the back to the front. So I'm just gonna take that leftmost one, and I'm just going to wrap it around, essentially. I'm just going to bring it all the way around. Just going to bring it all the way around to the back. And then on the back, I'm just going to trim so I can tuck away that wire end. And I'm just going to tuck that inwards. And then the other one, I'm just gonna trim that off. I'm just completely short, so you can see the little end of it in there. So my bail got a little bit wonky. You can see it's all crooked looking. I'm just gonna fix that up. All right. So now, the easiest thing to do, if this is your first time working with hard wire and you know you're really feeling that it's hard and it's much different than soft. So I'm just bringing this wire kind of across. It's harder to make like nice little bends with it. So it would be to bring one wire across this way, and then the other wire across this way, and then just to bring him to the back and trim it off and tuck away the wire ends. So that would be the easiest thing to do. I am going to incorporate some swirls in here because I find swirls are kind of harder, so I want to show you how I do them. I want you to be able to see the swirls being made so you can see what it looks like. So the first swirl that I'm going to make is going to be up here, and I'm just taking my wire and then I'm just turning it this way into a swirl shape, and then I like to come in with my pliers because it is hard with your hands, and you can see this isn't like a nice rounded swirl. It's kind of like almost like teardrop shaped, so I like to just come in with my pliers, and that fixes it right up. And now I can bring that to the back and trim that off and tuck away the little wire end there. And then with my other wire, so I have it this way, and I'm just gonna make a swirl kind of the opposite, like this one's going up, this one's going down. So I'm just, first I kind of try to make it with my hand as much as I can, and then I go ahead and I get in there with my pliers and I kind of finish and I turn that swirl, and I'm just gonna bring it to the back like that, and then I actually have some space, so you can trim and cut that off now, but I have a little bit of wire here, so I'm thinking maybe I can just do something a little extra. Let me just fix that swirl. So what you can do also with your pliers is if your swirl is kind of like not straight, you can kind of pick it up almost and move it. See how I did that there? And with this one too, like if you want to like reposition it, now I think they look really nice. So I'm just thinking, what can I do with this wire? I don't want it to be super visible here from the front. Maybe I can just do like a nice little angular bend. So this is a bit tricky because you have to find the middle, like where it touches the stone, but like the middle of the top of the stone, and then bend it so that it'll look centered. Let me zoom back out a little bit here. And then I'm just gonna bend it to the back. Just trying to see that it looks centered. And then here on the back, we're just gonna trim away and tuck that little wire end away. So you can see the little wire end, so that bothers me, so I'm just gonna try and kind of squish that. My squeaky pliers are squeaking. There we go. That hit away the wire end. Now this little angle is like, looks crooked. So let's try to fix that a little bit. So I'm also grabbing it and just kind of pointing it down as well, because I don't want it to come up like far from the stone where it's gonna get caught on stuff. I want it sticking up. Now the problem with half-hard wire is, see, it's still sticking up. Like you can press it down, but it springs back up. And to like over press it, the stone needs to not be there, so it's a little bit tricky. I wonder if I can just pop my stone out real quick. So just pushing that down. I'm trying to remember which way my stone was facing. I think it was this way. All right. So if you ever need to pop your stone out, by the way, I don't think I've done that in any video, you can just, you know, open up the back wires and take it out. That can be really useful sometimes if you have a stone that maybe like you're oxidizing and you don't want to oxidize with that particular stone. Okay, so now this is nice and really up against the stone, which is what I wanted. I don't want it sticking up because I don't want it to get caught, to be able to get caught on like clothing. All right, now the only thing that bothers me a little bit is sometimes when this is tilted, you can see this wire in the back. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my pliers and I'm gonna put kind of an angle in it to try and move it kind of up so it's less visible from the front. All right, so that was successful, but now it messed up my little thing here, my little point, which is now crooked looking. So I just have to reinforce that. So all of this like struggle here at the end is not necessarily because it's half hard, it's just the design choices. If I didn't do this little triangular point here, it would have been done already, but I just wanted to do something different. So this will be a little bit of a unique pendant, so I'm just adjusting my little loop one more time. And you can oxidize and polish the half-hard wire the same way. It's just normal in terms of that. All right, so after all of that adjusting, I'm finally satisfied with my pendant. So let me kind of show it to you here. Here's my little Labradorite. Here's the bail. So it's pretty cool. Happy with how it turned out, and it's definitely really sturdy because it's half hard wire. So I hope that you enjoyed, and thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.